eventually took place, right? Now that it has happened, most of us feel like we missed it. But Netflix just blessed Mike Tyson to be able to come back by way of Jake.
One of Mike Tyson's best supporters and one of the most important people who can tell so much about how Mike Tyson does his exhibition fights has broken his silence. Before Jake Paul, Roy Jones was the most recent opponent of Iron Mike Tyson as the pair contested in an exhibition fight in 2020.
Made note of on the telecast was his legs didn't look the same as when he fought me. You know, and that's not saying nothing bad. I don't know if he ever had a knee. He may have had a knee injury. I'm not sure.
Well, you can guess one thing both exhibition fights have in common: controversy. Maybe not as controversial, but once Jake Paul and Mike Tyson ended their fight that made over 1.6 million pay-per-view numbers, the fans greeted them with boos and social media comments on how they delivered so little compared to what was expected of them. It looked like Mike Tyson was holding himself back from doing much damage to Roy Jones Jr.
Holding up. Get off there, Roy! Get off, Roy! Look at him!
It seems so unfair for fans to pay so much to enjoy a boxing match and end up seeing a movie they can easily watch by paying less. As a result, many were displeased by the outcome. The only difference between the case then and now is the fact that Netflix didn't add their disaster to the controversial fight back then. This time, what we saw was the combination of three bizarre elements: Mike Tyson, Jake Paul, and Netflix. And the result was the show of shame we all saw on November 15th.
Streaming giant Netflix is being issued a class action in relation to the Mike Tyson and Jake Paul fight. TMZ reports the lawsuit is over streaming issues and a breach of contract. Thousands of viewers claim they had trouble
talking about Mike Tyson collapsing after the jury held that a substantial amount of the money made on the night be refunded back. Roy Jones Jr. said, "I really don't think that's the solution. Netflix had a crisis, and that's not the fighter's business." And for the fight itself, no one said the fight was going to be between prime Mike Tyson and Jake Paul. We knew he was old, we just got thrilled by his work rate and wanted to believe him. You know any 58-year-old who would do why he does? None. So why criticize him? On Tyson's health, he claimed he had inside information that Tyson was well, but he had several complaints as well.
Years could have taken a toll on him, or he could have had an injury. We don't know. Like Mike said, he went through so much stuff, he almost died. So anything could have happened. We don't know.
The man has risked his health enough by choosing to fight at that age. Why make him take more risks by putting him in such a condition? I heard he's getting better, but enough of the crap. The fight has happened and it should be let go. Roy Jones Jr. then commented on the rumors that Mike Tyson and Jake Paul fought a scripted fight.
Ranks very high for me, and I think maybe even the top, maybe probably the top ones I've seen, because you got to think about it. What he basically did is he allowed Mike Tyson to be exposed to the social media.
I fought Mike Tyson 4 years ago and there was nothing scripted. That's a lie. The only thing anyone can say about exhibitions is that the fighters aren't fighting for any world championship. So, you don't expect the same intensity as a fight where a title or higher ranking is on the line? This is for entertainment. And despite the fear of not wanting to see Tyson fail, we got entertained.
Oh, that's crazy. You noticed that. I just talked to his trainer and he told me that exact thing. Yeah. His balance was off.
His balance was off.
Yeah. Wow. You know, overall, like, how do you see Jake growing from this, and who do you want to see him fight against now?
Well, you know, I'm like, he's a pretty good.
Roy Jones Jr. was probably one of the first few boxing professionals to hint the public at how the fight was going to go after calling it a Hollywood show when he was making his final comments before the fight. Nonetheless, many thought he was speaking of something else as they took his comments casually. And after the fight, he didn't change his stance, saying he expected everything that happened. In fact, he had advised Paul to leave boxing and head to WWE with his brother to take his fight scripting to the very next level.
Am I losing the plot a bit, thinking Mike Tyson will win this quite easily?
No, you're not. I mean, for me, man, I see it the exact same way you see it. I mean,
Jones was on commentary for the showdown between Tyson and Paul, and he summed up in 3 words what he thought of the result. "I'm not surprised." Jones then shared his thoughts on the fight and revealed what he thinks could be next for Paul. "Everybody in the arena is just glad Tyson didn't go down. I'm not really surprised seeing Mike's legs. I'm not surprised at all. Jake Paul continues to go on. He'll see who he can find to make the most interesting fight with next." People like Canelo, who are not really looking for the toughest fights in the world right now, may even take that fight now. You never know.
Tomorrow, who makes the most money tomorrow? So that being said, it's kind of hard to say what's really going to happen. We think, and we actually know, that a real Mike Tyson, even at 60 years old.
In the build-up to Paul versus Tyson, Jones Jr. revealed his ex-rival hit him harder than anyone else from his career. Despite the American being 54 at the time, Jones Jr., who has won world titles at middleweight, super middleweight, light heavyweight, and heavyweight, is backing Iron Mike to emerge victorious in Texas. The 55-year-old believed Paul's defeat to Tyson Fury's brother Tommy in February 2023 is proof that the problem child doesn't have the power to beat a legitimate boxer. Speaking on the latest episode of TalkSport Boxing, Jones Jr. was asked whether Tyson wins the contest, which boasts 8 2-minute rounds.
It don't matter how old he is. But when you got so much money on the table, with these kind of people sometimes, we don't know what might happen, so we just not sure. But if you tell me just straight up.
To which he said, "In my humble opinion, if Jake Paul struggled against Tommy Fury, how in the hell are you going to beat Mike Tyson?" He later added, "You can't beat Tommy Fury, and a guy who hasn't been world champion. How are you going to beat Mike Tyson, who is the youngest heavyweight champion of all time?" To me, this is my opinion. I can't see that happening. Now, this is Hollywood we live in nowadays. The social media is about Hollywood. It's about what happens tomorrow. Who makes the most money tomorrow?
Fighting, if they're going to go in and fight a real fight, and Mike is going to fight Jake Paul, and Mike is 58 or 59, even 59 years old, Jake Paul not beat Mike Tyson.
So that being said, it's hard to say what's really going to happen. But I think we actually know that a real Mike Tyson, even at 60 years old, still destroys Jake Paul at 27, at 25, or at 23, no matter how old he is. Paul went into the contest with a 10, one record inside the squared circle, with 7 of his victories coming inside the distance. With 5 knockouts coming in the first 2 rounds, there had been talks that Tyson could struggle to deal with his 27-year-old opponent's power in the opening stages.
Tyson wanting to see more action. Babota, Evander Holyfield, you get the gist.
And everybody was saying,
However, Jones Jr. had full belief that Tyson could handle anything Paul threw at him. As he stated, "I don't fear for Mike at all. When I fought Mike 4 years ago in round 6, 7, and 8, Mike was just as active as he was in round 1, 2, 3, because they were 2-minute rounds, so that's perfect for Mike." He continued, "I think this fight between Paul versus Tyson should fall under exhibition rules. But that being said, I still think if they go and do it the way they're supposed to do it and really fight a great fight, Jake always struggles in the late rounds. If you look at the Nate Diaz fight, Paul unanimous decision win, Jake had a hard time with Nate Diaz really after round 3.
Praises
To the returning legend. Nice body shot. Paul, 12 of 53, 23%. Tyson coming up in that fight with
that mouthpiece.
Lennox Lewis, now one of the 6 boxers to defeat Mike Tyson after Jake Paul became the latest addition to that hallowed list, was so disappointed in Tyson. In fact, like Tony Bellew, he urged the entire boxing world to cancel on Jake Paul and stop watching his fights since he wouldn't stop making a joke out of the sport of boxing. He had tipped Tyson to win, and he felt so betrayed to realize Tyson had lost intentionally. Before the fight, when speaking to Sky Sports, Lewis said, "It's hard to box when you're that old, moving around the ring, throwing punches, getting punches thrown at you, but I think he can handle it."
Well, I don't think Jake Paul can hurt Mike Tyson. That's what I think. I think, Mike Tyson's going to go in there. He basically has to catch up to Jake Paul because Jake Paul...
I was thinking that Jake Paul was going to be in trouble because Mike Tyson knows how to throw great body punches, great headshots. We just have to see if he's going to do them in the ring. I'm hoping that he'll do that. Lewis, however, is predicting the YouTube star to face a much tougher challenge than he's used to when he takes on the baddest man on the planet, who he is backing to use his experience to his advantage in the ring. I expect to see Mike Tyson just kind of cutting off the ring and throwing body and head blows when he can catch up to Jake Paul, Lewis said. "I'm sure Jake Paul will be moving fast, moving around the ring. He's not going to want to stand there and get hit by Mike Tyson. I'll be there and it's going to be exciting."
...was not going to be there and trying to get hit by Mike Tyson. So Mike Tyson really knows how to break down opponents, and I think the fight with Jake Paul is going to try and break him down and take him out.
Okay.
Lewis, 59, will know Tyson better than most, having faced the American in June 2002. The pair fought at the Pyramid Arena in Memphis, Tennessee for the Ring Magazine heavyweight title. The British fighter came away with the win following a brutal 8th-round knockout. At the time, the event was the highest-grossing pay-per-view broadcast in history. Even then, Tyson's powers were depleting as he could not replicate the form he showed in the late 1980s and early 1990s. Lewis has also weighed in with his thoughts on the matter.
And you're happily retired, yes?
I'm happy.
Have you had offers?
Yeah, I have. But they haven't been serious enough.
If they were serious, you're indicating that I'm not trying to click.
I don't think Jake Paul can hurt Mike Tyson, he told IFL TV. You know, Mike Tyson's got to go in there. He basically has to catch up to Jake Paul because Jake Paul's not going to be there, trying to get hit by Mike Tyson. I think the fight with Jake Paul, Mike Tyson is going to try and break Jake Paul down and take him out, he added.
Clickbait you here, Lennox, honestly. But you've had offers, but you don't think they're serious enough for you to think about them.
I don't think they're serious enough for me to really break down and for me to get back in.
Despite Roy Jones Jr. claiming the fight wasn't scripted, he agreed that Tyson's health was waning. And if Jake Paul had fought the same Mike Tyson he fought, it'd have been a different story. Mike Tyson versus Roy Jones Jr., billed as Lockdown Knockdown, was an exhibition boxing match between former undisputed heavyweight world champion Mike Tyson and former 4-division world champion Roy Jones Jr. The bout took place at Staples Center in Los Angeles on November 28, 2020, and was sanctioned by the California State Athletic Commission.
Pivotal task. The referee will have to really be on the ball. Mike Tyson with a cavalcade of first-round knockouts, and there's a little of that bobbing weaving, of course, custom motto, teaching him the in and out.
With 3 former World Boxing Council champions acting as judges, the result was scored as a controversial split draw. The fight sold over 1.6 million PPV buys and generated over $80 million in revenue. Ahead of the exhibition fight between boxing legends Mike Tyson and Roy Jones Jr., it was impossible to predict what would happen in the ring. At a combined 105 years of age, and with uncertainty over the rules ahead of the event, an already unpredictable situation felt even harder to figure out. But once the men got in the ring, they went as hard as could be asked for over 8 2-minute rounds, leading to a split draw on the WBC assigned judges' scorecards.
To the body and the left hook upstairs, and Roy Jones Jr. Tyson, though, coming forward, remains focused. Oh, just blocked Roy Jones with that left. Entertain at least.
He can't let Mike get settled with the right hand. No, man, you don't want to make Mike mad.
The fight was a little rough around the edges, with neither man committing to a true volume of strikes. Neither seemed to throw more than or 2 punches at a time before ending up in the clinch to be broken up by referee Ray Corona. Tyson occasionally landed his trademark left hook at a distance, while Jones showed flashes of his old self with no-look jabs and showboating to boot. Tyson seemed to pile up most of the early rounds, landing the cleaner punches and muscling Jones in the clinch. Jones was the more visibly fatigued man in the corner between rounds, but he continued to try to gut out the fight, turning up his volume in the later rounds. This despite Tyson being far more removed from his time as a professional fighter.
That adrenaline, oh, and there's an exchange.
I'll talk about it and be about it at the same time.
Oh, and Jones avoids that punch by Tyson.
Be careful with those hands down.
Wise man once said, if you don't have any expectations.
I'm so happy that I'm seeing these guys.
Jones's late work served to score him enough late rounds to earn the win on one scorecard and a draw on the other. With Tyson winning the third scorecard, the fight was left a somewhat unsatisfying draw. While Tyson said he was happy with the result, Jones was less thrilled, saying after the fight, "I wear draws, I don't do draws." After the fight, Tyson told interviewer Jim Gray that he planned to move forward, fighting more exhibitions, and even seemed interested in running it back with Jones. "I'm used to doing it for 3 minutes," Tyson said of the rounds. "Sometimes that 2 minutes felt like 3 minutes. I'm happy I got this under my belt to keep doing this and go further."
Afraid, Roy, you might get hurt tonight. Were you really afraid in the back of your head that something could happen that might have put you in peril?
I was afraid I might get hurt. I didn't fight in 20 years.
Jones was less committed to fighting again, stating simply that it was hard to say. Tyson did shut down any idea of coming back to the ring as a professional, however. "This is bigger than fighting and winning the championship," Tyson said of competing in exhibitions where he donates money to charity. "We're humanitarians and we're helping people. While Tyson and Jones's in-ring performance definitely turned heads, what fans heard on the broadcast may have been just as good. Rap icon Snoop Dogg joined the team for the final 2 fights in the card and delivered some great one-liners while also openly rooting for Jones in the main event. The lightness provided by Snoop's commentary carried over into the post-fight interviews with Jones and Tyson, with the once feared fighters joking with each other while they basked in the bright lights of the sport's biggest stage, decades after being 2 of the biggest stars of their era. In the co-main event, Jake Paul showed he may have some serious power in his hands when he scored a vicious knockout of former NBA star Nate Robinson in the second round. Paul dropped Robinson twice before leaving him out cold on the canvas with a brutal right hook. The YouTube sensation is now 2-0 as a pro with a pair of knockouts.
Turn back the clock, but the clock is, what do you expect with a 54-year-old and 51-year-old? But Mike Tyson is bringing it. Roy trying to land that left. Old tradition.
And former light heavyweight champion Badu Jack dismantled Blake McKernan in a featured bout with nasty body work. Roy Jones Jr. said his body hurts everywhere Mike Tyson landed a punch. He is capable of fighting anybody, the 51-year-old Jones said of his 54-year-old opponent after their Saturday evening exhibition fight. The 2 veteran boxers had returned to the ring at a behind-closed-doors Staples Center in Los Angeles for a heavyweight match that ended up lasting 8 rounds.
Stop fighting for 3 years. I'm afraid I might get. Why nobody care about my ass?
Well, that's typical, right?
I've been fighting 15 years. He stopped fighting 3 years ago, and everybody worrying about his ass.
Though Jones and Tyson's showcase was never going to count on their pro records, it did top a 6-bout card that featured some legitimate bouts. One of which was Jake Paul's brutal second-round knockout win over the former NBA player Nate Robinson. Jones and Tyson combined to throw 429 shots, with Jones landing 37 of 236 punch attempts, 15.7%, and Tyson landing 67 of 193, 34, 6%, according to CompuBox data sent to Insider. After the 16-minute match, which was scored a draw, Jones told the media at a press conference attended remotely by Insider that he's tired but good. "I survived it," he said, adding, "I'm happy to scratch it off the bucket list and move on with my life."
Nobody thinks that a giant is going to fall.
I haven't did this in 15, 16 years. I'm not a giant, I'm a beginner.
Speaking specifically about the challenge of coming out of a 2-year retirement and 75 pro fights to take on Tyson, one of boxing's biggest icons, when both are in their 50s, Jones said, "He hit harder, his hands hurt, his head hurts my hands, everything hurts that makes contact. It makes you so fatigued trying to deal with him on the inside. You have to keep his arm locked up. I learned that from his Lennox, Lewis, and Evander Holyfield fights. Lock his arms up so he can't throw uppercuts. I had to work on the clinches, land punches on the inside of the clinch and get the hand back inside the clinch. That's what my strategy was going in. Clinch him on the inside, box him outside."
Yeah, because it's Mike Tyson. So it's like, in most cases you'll say, yes, I got a big fight on the road coming, you know? But this time I was like, you know what?
Jones said that while there were 2 punches that caused him a significant amount of pain, he was never dizzy and never considered dropping to the canvas. "I never thought about dropping, but he hit me with 1 good body shot and he hit me with an uppercut straight up and my jaw is a bit sore. It's all good, happens in a fight, but I never got dizzy or that. I did feel them, but they never made me dizzy. He was throwing more power punches. I was throwing more jabs and other punches. It could go either way. I'm cool with the draw."
You better get in a little shape because you are going there with Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
He said he wanted to do it all again, but that's a big old dude. He weighed 220 pounds, but he's more massive than 220. Trust me, I took a draw like Tyson. I mean, come on, bro. How can you get mad about that? He's capable of fighting anybody. If he catches you, you're going to have problems. I was feeling everything. He's an exceptional puncher still. All it takes is 1 punch from either one of us for something to happen. He can do anything he wants to do. I thank God nobody got hurt. It makes it even better. People got entertained. And that's all for now. For the very best updates on news, moments, events, and actions in the world of boxing, stay connected with us by subscribing to our YouTube channel, and don't forget to turn on notifications to get notified when we drop quality contents like this. Until next time, peace out.